I love talking about hidden gem JRPGs on this channel, and apparently you like hearing about them. So in this video, we'll be talking about 10 of the best ones you don't want to miss. And joining me are 9 fellow creators you probably all know talking about their absolute favorites. So let's kick this video off with Tark's Gauntlet.
When it comes to hidden gem JRPGs, there's a certain underdog you can always count on me to represent. I don't think that's in shot, hang on. The genre-defying Zonky Zero Last Beginning is perhaps best described as a first-person dungeon crawler survival sim RPG. But that word soup would hardly begin to do it justice. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic universe where the last remnants of humanity fight to survive against the monsters that pervade their lands, and a mysterious force that causes them to age from child to elder and through death and rebirth every few days. While the combat isn't the game's strongest suit, it makes up for it with an incredibly unique blend of other mechanics. Mechanics that constantly deal new, exciting, and unpredictable events that demand your ongoing strategic decision making. As an example, characters experience stat changes as they enter new periods of their lives, making them more or less reliable in certain scenarios. Characters that are too young or too old, for instance, have reduced inventory capabilities as they can't handle the same weight load as a young adult. As a second example, characters all have a bladder control mechanic and will need to relieve themselves throughout the journey. If you're unable to get to a washroom in time and a character actually, you know what? I'll leave this one to your imagination. Just be aware that ongoing micromanagement will be needed throughout the journey, and some of the things you need to remain cognizant of can seem easy to forget. That is, until you run into the shocking wake-up call of consequence. Zonky Zero's various systems create emergent gameplay unlike anything I'd ever seen before, and felt like a breath of fresh air when I first played it. Chocked full with a cast of interesting characters who all have harrowing and heartbreaking backstories, fantastic art, and a mystery that demands your attention as it unfolds, Zonky Zero is one of Spike Chunsoft's best and sadly most underappreciated hidden gems.
Hi, it's Emily from Orbalology, and thanks Taylor for having me on. And the hidden gem that I'll be talking about today is Lost Dimension, which I played on the PS Vita, but it's also available on the PS3 and on Steam. This is a relatively short JRPG where 11 individuals with psychic abilities, having lost all their memories and told that they need to scale this tower in order to save the world. And what makes Lost Dimension unique and otherwise fairly generic JRPG story is that they're also told among them there are various traitors they need to identify and eliminate. This not only heightens the story's stakes, but also adds extra consequences to the combat system. So this is a real-time action strategy RPG that's very reminiscent to the Valkyria Chronicles games. So not only are there traitors among your party members, they're also randomly generated in each game playthrough. So this adds a lot of interesting complexities to the combat system. So I recommend Lost Dimension for those seeking out a unique spin on the strategy RPG genre, as well as those who enjoy good music and are just looking for a shorter JRPG to finish in between all the crazy lineup of games we have this year.
Hi everybody, this is David over at the channel David Vinc, and I did want to give a huge thank you to Taylor for allowing me to come on over and join all y'all for talking about some cool hidden gems. My choice is one of my favorite games of all time, Orbalology for the PSP. I know that many people bought the PSP for games like Crisis Core, the Final Fantasy IV Complete Collection, or all of those Ys remakes, but I didn't. This gorgeous pixel art game was just calling out to me. I am a retro gamer at heart, and SNES style games are my absolute favorite. So whenever I saw this, which is a compilation of Orbalology 1 and 2, originally released for the PlayStation, but now bundled together for the PSP, I just had to have it. This was a system seller to me. I knew about this game, I knew that it was only released in Japan, but this was the first time that Western audiences could experience the adventures of Prince Pietro as he unravels the mystery surrounding his kingdom, as well as the disappearance of his mother. This is as charming as it gets, and the battles take place in a grid-based format, and your attacks actually target the grid rather than the enemies. So you can move and position your characters around to smash as many of them as you possibly can, if you do get them all gathered up. The maps are all open region, and they're just filled to the brim with secrets and treasures. So don't be fooled that this is just some sort of kiddie RPG, because this is an epic through and through. Thank you again, Taylor, for having me, and I do hope that all of you out there enjoyed my pick of a really cool, different hidden gem. So I hope that you enjoyed this fascinating video, and have a good day.
Despite the vast array of JRPGs out there, I've always felt there was a severe lack of dark, gritty games in the genre, but one of the best that fills this void perfectly is Shadow Hearts on the PS2. Set in an alternate early 1900s with heavy gothic and Lovecraftian inspirations, you control main character Yuri as he protects a girl named Alice from an evil magician. The term atmospheric is thrown around a lot for video games, but Shadow Hearts truly is that. Locales are dark, NPCs give off a hint of danger, and the ambient, sometimes trance-like music will put you right in Yuri's shoes as you're traversing the world or engaging in battles. And speaking of battles, Shadow Hearts is unique in that department as well. What would otherwise be a standard turn-based RPG is enhanced by the Judgment Ring system, where every action you take has you try and land a pointer on highlighted sections of a ring to succeed. This goes for attacking and even spells and items. It helps keep the player engaged in every battle, whether minor or big. And Yuri has one more unique mechanic to him, his fusion abilities, that let him turn into eldritch horrors to expand his arsenal of attacks until the battle is over. If you've been looking for a more dark RPG to get your hands on, you have to give Shadow Hearts a try. You won't regret it.
The moment Taylor asked me what my hidden JRPG gem would be, I thought it's none other than Dragon Quest Builders 2. This is a fantastic block building RPG. As you can see, it has a lot of Minecraft vibes, but for sure it does a great job at offering you a fun story that will drive your gameplay. You'll be exploring different islands to gather various resources as you unlock new recipes and blueprints to use, so the game always has something new to offer you. Not only are you working with your villagers to plant seeds and harvest crops, but you're also battling against enemies to rid the land from an evil cult. Now, if you're wondering, no, you don't have to play the first game to understand this one. Each one is its own standalone experience. You can play Dragon Quest Builders 2 with up to 4 friends and build to your heart's content on a dedicated island, but I chose to go solo. I don't know about you, but these games are just more of a me time kind of game. But if you want to play with your friends, you definitely can. And I actually refuse to wrap up my story. I just don't want the journey to end. So I really hope that Square Enix is working on the third entry. If you liked what you've seen so far, you can download the game's demo right now, so really you have nothing to lose. Thank you again, Taylor, for having me, and I hope to see you on my channel. Until next time, stay bubbly.
Hi guys, it's TKN here, and thanks a bunch to Taylor for letting me take part here. My hidden gem goes to Eternal Sonata, which I'm still lamenting is not on modern platforms. It follows the last journey of Polish pianist Frédéric Chopin in a world created from his own mind while he physically lies on his deathbed. As expected of a universe concocted from the mind of a musician, the world of Eternal Sonata is influenced heavily by music, even down to the character names, and it stands to reason that the OST is also memorable too. But it has so much more to offer, from its enjoyable battle system which incorporates both turn-based and action-based gameplay to its beautiful looking world that still holds up from a graphical standpoint. Eternal Sonata was the first JRPG I ever played where I was fully aware of the genre, but even now I'm confident that if I were to play it for the first time in the present age, I'd still enjoy it massively.
If we're talking about hidden gems, I think mentioning one for the 3DS is most appropriate, since the closure of the eShop is right around the corner. And one game that I think so many people missed was Stellar Glow. It was a cute little tactical RPG made by the developers of the Luminous Arc series that came out in Japan a few months after the company had already gone bankrupt. The premise is a very simple one with a lot of tropes. You play as Alto, an amnesiac whose village gets destroyed surprisingly not while he's out hunting, and in order to save all of the crystallized villagers, he bands up with a group of knights to unite the 4 witches of each element to undo the Witch of Destruction spell. A lot of it is very by the numbers, but what makes me like Stellar Glow as much as I do is that it's more than the sum of its parts. No one part of the game stands out as particularly outstanding, but between stuff like the bonding system giving party members useful passives, the cozy story and gameplay style of the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance games, and the outstanding character designs, you get a really fun game that I feel like people missed out on because they were too busy playing stuff like Bloodborne or The Witcher 3 or... Okay, yeah, I get why nobody played this. But yeah, if you want to just chill and vibe with a nice comfy tactical RPG, then you can't go wrong with Stellar Glow. Also, Hilda is best girl.
Oh, Chicken Fillets here, and thank you to Taylor from the Gaming Shelf for asking me to come on and recommend a hidden gem JRPG for you. And who, boy, don't I have a belter for you. And that game is Crosscode. Now in Crosscode we follow Leah, who awakens in the fictional MMORPG of Crossworlds with no memory of who she is and has also lost the ability to talk. Now we join Leah and her companions in this gorgeous pixel art JRPG sporting fast and frantic action-based combat, and it's filled to the brim with excellent puzzles, dungeons and amazing story beats. What else could you ask for? Well, if you want a beast of a soundtrack, that's there too. Once again, thank you to the Gaming Shelf for having me on, and we'll see you next time. Tatty bye!
Hey, what's up everyone? Alex here. And I'm here to talk about one of my favorite games of recent memory, which is Odin Sphere Leif Thrazir. Now, I've had the original PS2 version ever since it launched, and it's actually a very good thing that I never got around to playing that game, because when I started playing the PS4 version, I actually didn't realize that they completely revamped the battle system. And in case you never played the original, well, thank goodness, because it was actually a very stiff kind of action game. And what they did with Leif Thrazir is they kind of took a lot of the things that they learned from their previous action games like Dragon's Crown and Muramasa Demon Blade, and they applied it to this release of Odin Sphere. And now it's literally a representation of everything that Vanillaware has learned over the past few years. Now, what's really also cool about this game is that it has different protagonists that all play differently, and of course, each have their own story. So it's almost like a precursor to 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim if you play that game, only that it's less about the confusion of what's actually going on and just kind of piecing together different pieces of the puzzle and forming this uniform narrative that is very fantastical and very magical. And of course, if this is the first time you've ever seen a Vanillaware game, the animation is breathtaking, and the music by Hitoshi Sakimoto of Base Escape is an absolute treat. More people need to be paying attention to Vanillaware, and I'm of the mind that Odin Sphere Leif Thrazir will be a great title if you want to check out this developer's games, or if you just want a great action RPG to play.
I mean, you guys saw this one coming, right? It was either this or Tokyo Xanadu. My love for this PS4 gem knows no bounds. I love its fantastic art style, its cool mech combat, that incredible soundtrack, and most of all, the amazing cast of characters. A large portion of the game is story, and thankfully it's great. You've been tasked with reviving the flower division of the Imperial Combat Review, both in terms of combat prowess and putting on an entertaining play at the theater. It's a fun balance of getting to know all the different characters and supporting them in their new roles, as well as fun action combat sequences. Each character was so fun to interact with that I couldn't wait to see what they all had to say in each chapter. It's a real shame that this game didn't sell well or get ports to other systems, because it definitely deserved both. If you haven't checked out this incredible game yet, make sure you do, because it's worth every single penny. Now, if you want to hear about even more hidden gem JRPGs, make sure you watch this video right here. And be sure to check out all the creators that joined me for this video. I'll leave links to their channels in the pinned comment and in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.